Hi, it's Lisa here from Capstone Editing. In this video, I'll be giving you a brief introduction to author date referencing. At the tertiary level, each school or department has a stated preference for the referencing style students should use when completing assignments for courses. The two most commonly required referencing styles are APA and Harvard, both of which are author date referencing styles. All the examples I'll show you in this video use APA style. By the end of this video, you'll understand that there are many different author date referencing styles, the basic rules of any author date referencing style, and that when referencing, consistency is always the most important consideration. If your school requires you to use a footnote referencing style, please refer to our video on that topic. Author date referencing styles get their name from the use of both the author name and the date in parenthetical citations, that is, in-text references that appear in brackets. A page number will also be included whenever the ideas or words of a source are being paraphrased, summarised, or quoted. APA and Harvard are only two of the many author date referencing styles that exist. Another well-known style of this type is Chicago author date, and many publishers and journals have their own author date referencing styles for authors to follow. This slide gives you an example of the way an in-text reference is presented differently in these three styles. However, it is important to remember that there is no one rigidly defined Harvard style in the same way as there is for APA. Rather, it's more a collection of guidelines that, when used by institutions, publishers, and journals, results in significant variation in what is considered Harvard style. This means that the Harvard style required by one university may differ a great deal from that required by another. Whichever style you're required to follow, you must locate the appropriate referencing guide to follow and adhere to it exactly, ensuring consistency throughout your referencing. This need for consistency is discussed further below. Okay, so let's look at the basic rules of author date referencing. Although they vary in a few ways, like the use of punctuation, which I'll explain shortly, all author date referencing systems have much in common with one another. Note that while all the examples shown in this video are an APA referencing style, these same basic rules are true for all author date referencing styles. When to provide page numbers is an important rule to know, and this is the same across all author date referencing styles. When citing an entire work, the page number or range can be omitted. However, in all other cases, a page number or location number in the case of unpaginated sources such as websites is necessary in APA, and this looks like this. This slide shows you the difference between an in-text reference without a page number and one with a page number. The next rule to learn is how to cite works by multiple authors. Sources with two authors use either the ampersand or the word and. APA uses the ampersand. Sources with three or more authors use et al, either in every instance or only for subsequent citations. In APA, for sources with 3 to 5 authors, et al is used for subsequent citations only. This slide shows the difference between how such a source would look when it's cited the first time and how it would look when you mentioned it the second and subsequent times. It also shows you one example of a source by just 2 authors and one by 3 authors. In APA, for sources that have 6 or more authors, et al is used in every instance, even in the first one. Okay, so another basic rule, which is followed across all author date referencing styles, is how to differentiate works published by the same author in the same year. When citing multiple sources by the same author published in the same year, these are differentiated by adding a letter to the end of the year of publication in both the citation and the reference list. In APA, this looks like this. Sometimes it's necessary to omit the author or year from the in-text reference. If you've referred to the author in the narrative of your text, you shouldn't repeat the author name in the corresponding in-text reference. Likewise, if your sentence mentions the year of the source, there's no need to include the year in the in-text reference. In APA, this is how these different scenarios look. The author or date is never omitted from the parenthetical citation simply because it isn't known. If no year of publication is available for a source, use ND instead, that is, no date, with a full stop or period after the N and after the D. If the author isn't known, use the title of the source instead. In all author date referencing styles, there must be a reference list or a bibliography. The purpose of in-text citations in author date referencing styles is to give enough information to point the reader to the full bibliographic entry at the end of the document. This can be a reference or works cited list, which contains only those sources cited in the body of the text, or a bibliography which contains all the sources cited in the body of the text, as well as any important works that you consulted but that weren't cited in the document. The considerable variation between author date referencing styles and between versions of the same style of different institutions, publishers, and journals means that there's plenty of room for confusion for students when they're trying to follow a referencing style guide. If you're a student writing at the undergraduate or postgraduate level, it may be comforting for you to know that while you should make every effort to adhere to the referencing style guide you're following, your most important concern should be consistency. Even if you're using some variation on your chosen referencing style, so long as you do so consistently and it doesn't contradict any of the basic rules of author date referencing given above, you should not be penalised. The same can't be said for authors submitting manuscripts to journals or publishers. In this case, the referencing style guidelines of the journal or publisher must be followed exactly without variation or error. Failure to do so can result in your manuscript being returned to you for correction. Keeping in mind all the basic rules that I've discussed in this video, you should now be able to better notice the similarities and by extension the differences between the different styles. This should better equip you to follow any referencing style guidelines with which you're presented, and encourage you to do so very closely. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please do like it and share it with your friends and colleagues. And don't forget to subscribe to the Capstone Editing YouTube channel and our blog on our website. Thanks for watching.